Welcome everyone to the world's most powerful bodywork masterclass, A to Z Wellness. Please watch this training video and you will understand for the first time the domino effect of how thought form creates physical form and how you can unleash the power to heal. After you have watched issues in your tissues, joints, and organs, you can move on to the 26 training videos which cover all the physical conditions throughout the body and, better still, how to reverse them. So this is it. Issues in your tissues, joints, and organs. Where the mind goes, the body must follow. Understand something. P.S. Love yourself well. Welcome to Planet Earth, a fun-filled, life-threatening adventure for the whole family. When you take control of this game, when you no longer play their game, understand that you must not just bend the rules, you must break them. Let us teach you how to become the ruler of your game. Stop looking for world peace, for when you have inner peace, you will finally have both. Stop fighting for independence. The only thing that matters is inner dependence. Mankind has been at war with himself and everyone else since the beginning of time. Things don't change, only we can change. Love is the answer, but learning to love oneself is the only cure to finding true health and happiness on this planet. Life is an exciting adventure if you're not looking for approval and you don't take things personal. So turn on your brave heart and let's find your mighty roar. Understand this. True health and real healing is much different than we've been taught. People are fed their health information from the food industry, which pays no attention to health, and then they are treated by the healthcare industry, which pays no attention to food, nutrition, or detox. Both of these systems are regulated by the government, which pays very little attention to what either of these systems are doing to human beings. Make no mistake, physicians and surgeons are the best for emergency care, but these doctors do not practice healthcare. They practice emergency care. Who wants to become an emergency and then remain in emergency? Only nature heals and only the body cures. Hippocrates stated, "If you are not your own doctor, you are a fool." When it comes to medical healthcare, profits are generated by creating a society of chronic illness, by contaminating first your mind and then your body. You do not become the third leading cause of death in North America for no reason. Taking personal responsibility for your own health care is regarded today as a rebellious, foolish act by those who think they can sell your body off by the pound. Fatten the herd and send them to the butcher. The real truth about healthcare is found in the teachings of Hippocrates, the father of medicine, and those like him. At one time, the medical system believed in the Hippocratic Oath, and today all that's left is the hypocrite. Our healthcare does not need a revolution. Our healthcare needs an evolution. Health and morality are very hard to find in this corporate climate of cut, poison, and burn. What do you think? For healthcare to change, practitioners and doctors must become that change. For healthcare to evolve, practitioners and doctors must evolve. For this to happen, we must grow consciously. Medical care is and never will be healthcare. True healthcare is knowing how to totally care for and love oneself well with each and every breath that we take. As a practitioner, I can tell you, the results of our successes should be measured only by the success of teaching our patients how to heal themselves, because healing is self-healing. The greatest medicine of all is to teach people how not to need medicine, but to become their own medicine. This is called the electromagnetic light energy being. Welcome to the future. It has been over 100 years of misinformation and hypocritical healthcare. To become a physician or surgeon does not mean you are a doctor in the true sense of the word, because doctor means teacher. What are we teaching? I truly believe that unless every patient wants to become their own practitioner in today's toxic climate, their health is and always will be at risk because we are under corporate care. We have been ruled, schooled, and fooled when it comes to the healing potential of the human body. To restore the health of our civilization, the power to heal cannot be left in the hands of the few, but must be placed in the minds of the many. That would be us, that would be you. We cannot heal with the same mind that has created the sickness. So this is why we must usher in a new era, a new world, one that empowers the unseen practitioner within each and every one of us. Our Creator created us to create, not to mutate. This is man-made. Forget man's rules and reclaim your own God-given right to the universal law of abundance on all levels. The word doctor means to teach. So the title doctor is a Latin-derived word referring to anyone who is recognized to have acquired sufficient knowledge in a subject to be a teacher of that subject. To prove my point, you can be a doctor of medicine, music, literature, and yes, natural health. But do not tell me you are a doctor of healthcare and you do not teach healthcare. We must become our own doctor when it comes to our body. But to do this, we must acquire sufficient knowledge in the art of honoring, respecting, protecting, and loving one's body in alignment with nature's laws, not man's rules. We need to build a new world where people come before profit, where health is not sold by the pound, and where every living soul understands that it's about self-care, not healthcare, and where loving oneself unconditionally is where all healing begins and ends. As I stated earlier, unless practitioners become the change, healthcare will always remain watered down and contaminated. Unless practitioners grow consciously, the majority of the population will be sold a fraudulent product called healthcare. I'm calling out to those of you who are practitioners now and those of you who wish to become practitioners. The foundation of your practice must come from the power of loving people and no longer be rooted in the love of power over people. This New World practitioner recognizes and teaches that every human being has the power to self-heal. The New World practitioner will always focus on training their patient, not just treating them, because just treating them has led us to where we are today, and the collapse of a healthy human race. The New World practitioner will first look at the condition their patient is in before the condition they have. The foundation of your practice must come from the power of loving people and no longer be rooted in the love of power over people. This New World practitioner recognizes and teaches that every human being has the power to self-heal. This New World practitioner will focus on training their patient, not just treating them, because just treating them has led us to where we are today. Mistreatment and the collapse of a healthy human race. This New World practitioner will first look at the condition their patient is in before the condition they have. Otherwise, what they think and how they act dictates their health reality map. This New World practitioner will create the perfect day on an emotional and physical level for themselves, their family, and their patients. They will lead by example. Without an effective whole body approach, you and your patients will continue to only have temporary success. For a successful outcome, natural health practitioners must step outside the box of the so-called normal health practice, whether natural or medical, that most have been unconsciously programmed for. There is nothing normal about the health of our society today. Practitioners must continue to evolve if they wish health to evolve on this planet. A New World practitioner does not practice alternative health. They practice traditional health, which is not man's way, but nature's way. Whether you are already a health professional or have always wanted to become one, understand your potential is only limited by your beliefs. From doctors to nurses, to the general public, we all have the potential to become health professionals. Did you hear what I just said? Do not let limiting beliefs stop you from your passion, your purpose, and your healing. Our doors are open to all our brothers and sisters who want to take their personal power back. Our whole life coach certification will transform and expand your mind through total self-awareness, total self-empowerment, total self-care, and total self-love. We have created the most profound program with our whole life coach certification when it comes to rewiring the brain for permanent change, and combined with the most powerful bodywork therapy to date, Wolfe Non-Surgical Deep Tissue Therapy. You will be able to uncover and fully discover the unseen healer from within. My team will teach, train, and guide you step by step on how to make the I am possible from the impossible. Where other treatments and trainings end, I promise you this, ours just begins. You are much bigger and smarter than you have been made to believe. Trust me on this. I know, I've went through this. You need to unleash your God-given talent to heal and be healed and stay healed. I can't even imagine the tsunami of sickness we are facing if we do not learn to grow consciously on a personal level and together on a global level. You cannot do better until you have been taught better. So never, never beat up on yourself because you have been programmed to believe that you are unworthy and that you are not a genius. Well, this, my friend, is not true. To have things change, you must become the change. Learn differently. Let me ask you a question. With all the so-called medical breakthroughs and the hundreds of thousands of natural health practitioners that practice in North America, why are we one of the sickest nations on the planet and headed toward our fifth, I did say our fifth, planetary extinction? 9 out of 10 people have a chronic illness or disease today. What's wrong with this picture? 1 out of every 2 of your friends or family will experience cancer and or heart disease in their lifetime unless they waken. 80% of the population is overweight or obese. 80% of the population is also pre-diabetic, and 92% of the population is experiencing an autoimmune disease at this very moment. What does this say about the healthcare system, whether medical or natural? Look, if its foundation is not based on self-care, then it's not healthcare. Unless we are teaching and training ourselves and others self-care, self-love, self-respect, and self-discipline, then I believe we are the root cause of this health crisis. If our current healthcare model is so effective, then why are our friends and our families suffering so greatly? Because cut, poison, and burn has been made to be the only option for the majority. Programmed to be sold off by the pound. Before man, there was only nature. If you continue to turn your back on Mother Nature for manipulation, you will never have the tools to thrive in this world. Total healing is and only can be a personal take action experience if you wish to experience it for your lifetime. The reason why there is no integrity in healthcare today is because most people that are in healthcare have lost their way and their integrity without even knowing it. Talk about getting sucker punched, really. Until we know that we have been asleep, we will never awaken from this corporate coma. A health practitioner can only give what he or she is. They can't give what they're not. If you haven't awakened, I get it. But the reality is, okay, we hold all our patients in jeopardy as long as we are in this corporate coma. If we wish to see things different, then we must become that difference. The quality of the therapies and the treatments given will always match the quality of the beliefs of the practitioner or the doctor that's giving them. The quality of the treatments accepted by the patient will always match the love, the honor, and the respect they have for themselves. Every practitioner's ability to treat and every person's ability to heal is and always will be limited by his or her beliefs. A New World practitioner understands that the only true growth is conscious growth, which has no limits. A New World practitioner will teach their patients that they are worthy of total love, total forgiveness, and, of course, with that comes total healing. A New World practitioner completely understands how the emotional being and the physical body affect each other for creating the perfect health for the perfect body. A New World practitioner understands that we must create new pathways in our brain. Otherwise, new belief systems first and foremost, if permanent healing is to take place and, of course, stay in place. A New World practitioner understands the only true growth is conscious growth because where the mind goes, the body must always follow. Look, our courses, certifications, and personal treatment and trainings are built around the self-empowering philosophies of the I Am. We need to break free from this herd mentality and unleash our God-given potential by rewiring our brain. And if you don't want to rewire your brain and you want to keep all these dysfunctional beliefs, then know that you will suffer, and you will suffer greatly. Understand your brain is involved in everything you do, how you think, feel, and act at every given moment, from the habits that create the programs, which are all controlled by your brain. Your brain is the organ of judgment and personality, but the quality of its intelligence and decision-making are all based on the quality of the prominent beliefs stored within this reality map known as the subconscious part of the brain. So where's your focus? Because where your focus goes, grows. Whether it is healthy or not does not matter to your subconscious. You must become conscious of the fact if you wish to take your health back. When your brain works right, you work right. When your brain does not work right, you won't work right either. To have success, you need a healthy brain. To have a healthy life, you need healthy, empowering beliefs. If you wish to change your reality, then you must change parts of your personality. Because it's not your personality. Your personality is based on total love, integrity. No. And if it isn't, then you will suffer. Ask yourself this. Do your beliefs support self-healing? Not healing, but self-healing. It's a well-known fact that a sick mind creates a sick body. But understand this, you're not sick, your beliefs are. Because they are not yours, because why would you hurt yourself unless you were unknowingly programmed to do so? And that's why I say, welcome to planet Earth, a life-threatening, fun-filled adventure for the whole family when you make your own rules. Unless you're willing to take an honest look at your personality, you will never change your reality. Do you believe deep down inside that you deserve to heal? If you have beliefs of unworthiness, all healing will only be temporary at best. Do you realize you have 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day? Do you also realize that you repeat 90% of these thoughts each and every day? Repeating thoughts is not the problem. Repeating negative thoughts is. With most of the population, 70% of their thoughts are negative. So if you take a look at the mental and physical state of the average man and woman, you will see that this holds true. Where do you think the word adulterated comes from? Welcome to the family curse. Understand, if you repeat something long enough and strong enough, no matter if it's good for you or not, it will be accepted by your subconscious as truth. Remember, your thoughts make and shape every part of you. So what creates your thoughts? It's the perception you have of yourself and the world around you. Look, we were created by our Creator to create, and this is how the process works. It's universal law. Understand this. The process of creation can either work for you or against you, depending on if you are a conscious creator or an unconscious one. It is important to never forget that everything visible has been created by the invisible. Your thoughts are everything. You can't hold your thoughts in your hand, but know this, they are the blessing or the curse. Depending on your thoughts, you will either have a negative or positive image about yourself and the world around you. Remember, all creation starts with an image. First, we have an image, then a thought, which creates an emotion, which creates a frequency, which will either create a positive or negative result. If your thoughts create a negative frequency or experience, it will cause the brain to trigger and release negative hormones and chemicals in the body called histamine, adrenaline, and cortisol. The short form for this is what I like to call HAC, otherwise hack. And that's exactly what it feels like. We are trying to hack something up. We are trying to rid ourselves of something negative. I believe there are only two main emotions, love and hate, otherwise positive and negative. So when it comes to negative emotions, no one can digest them. But the most damaging one is fear. It'll tie you in knots. It will run your life and it will run you over. I guarantee you this, if you do not master fear, it will master you. And understand something, I get it. We cannot totally eliminate fear because fear also is a GPS. But not when that GPS is broken because somebody else is mastering our subconscious. So you need to get that right now. If you don't want to take the time to master your brain, retrain your brain to become the real you, the authentic you, then you will be run over. So buckle up because your life is going to become a bumpy road. Understand this, fear is a negative entity that lives within all of us when we do not master fear. And guess what? If you continually feed it, it will continually feed on you until there is nothing left of you. Nothing. Beliefs are living things, so understand this. Whatever you feed will only get bigger, so watch out what you are feeding because it may just eat you alive. Welcome to the herd. Welcome to a world where the elite and corporations have mastered the art of fear-mongering, where fear is the most promoted and experienced emotion today. Don't tell me advertising doesn't pay. So what if you're not the one that's in charge of your brain? What if you're not the one in control of your life? What if those you have put in charge have made fear into a 24/7, 365-day event for you? Just know, prolonged fear will be the ruin of you. Understand, you have two main protectors, your immune system for the inside of your body and the adrenals for the outside of the body. If most of your energy is focused outside of yourself toward external threats, whether real or unreal, then you're leaving your internal threats unprotected and exposed by shutting down your immune system, by continually triggering the adrenaline rush. We all like to get high. You better watch your drug of choice. Because understand something, it's one or the other, internal protection or external protection. They never work together. This invisible tiger called fear has no real teeth, but when you go into fear mode, you take a bite out of your immune system every time by giving fear a false sense of power. Those that you have given your power to say They want to help you and even care for you, but they're really just feeding their own life force with the fear they continually inject and infect in you. Look, I just want to say something here. There's fear-mongering, and then there's fear-mongering. Understand something. Are these just people that want to control us, or are these people that are trying to kill us? I think if you were a conscious person and you were okay with the God's truth, you would understand that there is a entity, there is a force, there is a group down here. They're not big, they're small, and they're also small-minded. But they live off our fear. They live off our pain and suffering. They are the cancer that are giving us the cancer because we have not woke up to living in the present moment. That's their power. Understand, fear shuts down your growth, your healing, and the maintenance and the protection of your body, thus putting your immune system in harm's way. Stress hormones completely shut down your immune system to conserve energy so that you can run away from the real or unreal threat. Let me tell you something. When you keep dumping adrenaline, cortisol, histamine into your body, it's eating you up like the acid. There's not a real tiger, not a real dinosaur, there's not even a real threat. When there's something really wrong, you can take action and burn that off. But when you're just sitting on the couch or just standing there freaking out, they've won. You know what the most powerful thing against these evil people, okay, is your happiness. You staying in the present moment. You focusing on only what you want in your life. Look it. When you lack energy inside your core, you lack an immune system, which shuts down all your systems, except for fright, fight, and flight system. Fearful people will never heal. Did you get what I just said? Fearful people will never heal. They only burn up and eventually they burn out. So you can either learn or you can burn. You can stay in fear or give yourself a little kick in the rear. Your immune system equals protection from internal invaders. The immune system protects you on the inside, whereas your adrenals protect you on the outside. 75 years ago, we triggered our adrenals maybe 3 times a day. Before COVID, 17 times a day. But now the majority is experiencing a constant drip of adrenaline and cortisol that is burning up their tissues, wearing out their joints, and overloading their vital organs. When you trigger your adrenals and there is no actual threat, your brain cannot tell the difference between real or unreal. So the threat becomes real, and your immune system is now under full attack because the defenses have been rerouted to the external world. This constant drip of adrenaline will now build up inside of you and eventually burn you up from the inside out, drawing calcium from your bones, turning healthy tissue into beef jerky from the inflammation you have created, knowingly or unknowingly. If most of your energy is focused on the external threats, then you are leaving internal threats unprotected, which means self-healing will never take place. You just got sucker punched. You got sucker punched and you are suffering needlessly. So the program you run is more important than the disease you have because the thought form creates physical form. This is the law. It's one or the other. Internal protection or external protection. Where the mind goes, the body follows. Have you been unknowingly programmed to become your own worst enemy? Remember, everything has a frequency, so watch out what you put out there. Now, you know a thought is not just a thought, it's the conductor. Now let's talk about love. Actually, let's talk about self-love. Are you getting your daily dose of gentle, loving chemicals and hormones that create self-healing? To put it simply, they don't just create self-healing. They keep self-healing working 24/7, 365 days a year. To put it simply, Positive emotions create the healing, and negative emotions create the disease. Because you're not at ease, you are the disease. What happens when you create a positive thought, frequency, or experience? It triggers the brain to release positive hormones and chemicals like dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins, which stands for dose. Are you getting your daily dose? So, your emotions can create a frequency of love or hate. Emotions of love between two can create a baby, and emotions of hate can create a tumor. There are only two master emotions, love or hate. So, two can come together and have a baby. What a miracle. One person can actually terrorize themselves and create a tumor. Well, where do you think you're going to store all that hate and anger? Well, your body is the storage shed. Your body is the filing cabinet that stores everything until you're willing to deal with it and let it go. Remember something, feelings are everything. Let's review the domino effect of all our creations. Image creates thoughts, and thoughts create emotions, which creates the experience, which creates the frequency that releases the chemicals and the hormones from the chemist, which is known as your brain. The chemicals and the hormones released by the brain create the physical matter. So choose your thoughts wisely, my friend, because as I stated earlier, the invisible creates the physical. But what I should have said is everything physical has been created by the invisible. As Einstein stated, E equals mc squared, which means energy creates mass, or simply put, where the mind goes, the body must follow. So become a conscious creator. The conscious mind is the CEO in charge of creating all things new. It only lives in the present moment, where all new thoughts and only true healing can take place. Do you get this? That only true healing can take place in the present moment. Your point of power, your point of healing, can only be accessed in what? The present moment. Most of the population are in the present moment 2 to 5% of their day, each and every day. Unless we become conscious of the conscious mind, we will live a life of continual struggle and pain, doing everything else and being everyone else, because most of us have become a prisoner of our subconscious mind. The subconscious mind hates anything new, loves the past, and fears the future. Does this sound like anyone you know? So let's talk about the protector, the storage container of prominent programs, your subconscious. Welcome to the editor, otherwise the stubborn subconscious mind, where all prominent thoughts are stored and protected, whether good or bad, and where new ones are always rejected. The subconscious mind hates the present moment, the future, and anything new, but loves to wallow in the past and play life's so-called failures over and over again like a broken record, making you feel like your life, your living, is just not good enough. Or that's as good as it gets. Your subconscious does not care if you are creating a strategy to save your life, because it believes it's saving your life by stopping you from changing anything in your life. If your wish is to change anything in your life, then you must master the art of repetition, along with taking massive personal action, because this is your only weapon against the stubborn subconscious mind and the psycho elite that wish to rule the world. You will never fix a problem or heal a disease with the same mind that created it. This is law. Unless you're willing to change parts of your personality, as I stated earlier, you will never create a new reality. Unless you change, nothing else changes. Now let's talk about the autopilot. The autopilot is known as the unconscious mind, which is 50 trillion cells that make up your body. This is where the saying, issues in your tissues, comes from. Most people do not realize that repetition is the art of mastering anything and everything in their life. And thought repeated and experienced enough will become a prominent thought within the subconscious, which then becomes a habit. Habits are carried out by the unconscious mind without any thought, like putting your pants on, brushing your hair, going to the bathroom, making coffee. You get the picture. Thoughts become experiences, and when experiences are repeated enough, they become habits, which eventually become programs, then become infused into all your body cells. This is how habits are performed without conscious thought by the body on an unconscious level. Welcome to the program. Welcome to your life. Habits are never a problem unless they are creating negative issues in your tissues. Look, how you perceive and process your emotions will decide the quality and the location of your blood, your emotional state of being, and the health of your tissues, joints, and organs. Remember, perception is everything. Healthcare or self-care, self-hate or self-love, it's your choice. Well, it is your choice now. Maybe not up until now. You know when they say you've always had a choice? Well, you haven't. You've been played. And those who haven't been played, they've been paid to play you. Remember, there are only two emotions, love or hate. Perception orchestrates chemistry, and that chemistry is orchestrated by your brain. When at peace, your body will be in a parasympathetic state, a state of love, healing, and joy. In this state, your body will be releasing a love potion of hormones and chemicals such as dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins, which stand for your daily dose of self-love. And what is that self-love drug? It's vitamin L. When at war with oneself, otherwise in a state of fear, your body will be in what is known as a sympathetic state of fright, flight, freeze, and fight, which is a habitual, unconscious state of fear, doubt, and worry, which leads to all the disease that you're going to experience for your whole life. Because remember, what did I say? Thought form creates physical form. So in this state, your body will be continually releasing acidic hormones and chemicals such as histamine, adrenaline, and cortisol. Every time that you're in a sympathetic state, your body thinks you're being chased by a tiger, as I stated earlier. This state is caused by the illusionary fear that we are force-fed day in and day out by the media, medical system, corporations, and yes, even religions who wish to control our bodies and own our minds. But let me say one thing right now. All of these systems I just said, they are getting in between us and our spirit because we are electromagnetic light energy beings. So understand something. Being in a sympathetic state of fear creates inflammation, crystallization, internal scar tissue formation, displaced calcium, and mutations such as fibroids, adhesions, cysts, and tumors. Until you learn to become the master of your own mind, your body will be mastered and manipulated by others, and you will suffer life-threatening issues, first in your mind, and then in your tissues, and then throughout your whole life. Remember, where your mind goes, your body must follow without question. This is the law. It is said that 92% of the population suffers from an autoimmune disease, which means attacking oneself. Until you awaken the inner power that lies within you, you will never realize that you have been unconsciously programmed to self-destruct. Welcome to the program. Welcome to the herd. Welcome to the harvest. When we finally awaken to the fact that all healing begins and ends with self-healing, and that it can only be turned on by total unconditional love for oneself, then and only then will we begin to heal ourselves and our world. Love is not the answer. Because if it was, we would be there already. Total self-love, total self-healing, total self-forgiveness. This is the law. Understand this, all diseases are physical blocks that begin as an energy block. Otherwise, a negative emotional block that could not be properly processed through the heart with love. So it becomes trapped emotional issue. It becomes a trapped emotional issue caught in a low integrity tissue. Like attracts like. Negative thoughts become issues in the tissues. This is where the equation E = mc squared comes into play. Otherwise, energy creates mass, and in the case of negative energy, it creates mass destruction. The medical system even calls an abnormal growth a mass, even though they do not believe in the energy body. Like a computer, your physical body is the hardware, and the emotional body is the software. Corrupted software will eventually corrupt the hardware. Corrupted emotional energy creates corrupted tissues, otherwise disease. Energy creates mass, but in the case of corrupted energy, it only creates a massive mess. In my opinion, the medical system is the definition of contradiction. On one hand, they refuse to look at the human body as an electromagnetic light energy body. Meanwhile, almost all their testing equipment is based on testing the electromagnetic light energy body, not the physical body. The medical system is the main reason why the majority of the population only focus on less than 1% of what they truly are, that being the physical body. The day that you finally accept this scientific fact that the majority of what you are is an electromagnetic light energy being first and foremost, you will set yourself free from the invisible belief system, otherwise BS, that has enslaved mankind, humankind, for over a century. This enslavement is the dysfunctional belief system that life begins, ends, and revolves only around physical matter. This archaic way of thinking pulls our focus into the physical, when actually all disease, pain, and suffering is emotional first and foremost, because we are energy beings having a physical experience on this planet. Everything visible is created by the invisible. Your images, thoughts, beliefs, and your perception of yourself and the world around you. You are the architect, so understand, where your focus goes, disease or vitality grows. A sick mind always comes before a sick body, with limiting dysfunctional beliefs being its fuel. Every disease in the human body is first created by an emotional block before it ever becomes a physical block. When you're diagnosed with a disease, otherwise a chronic symptom that was caused by neglect or ineffective treatment, remember, all physical blocks began as a trapped negative emotional block that could not be properly processed due to limiting subconscious beliefs that eventually manifest into physical blocks. The emotional blocks that have now transformed into physical blocks will find their home in inflamed, low vibrational tissues, organs, or joints that match their vibration, because like always attracts like. All physical energy blocks will disrupt the normal flow of blood, lymph, and energy. The amount of energy you have or don't have dictates your health or the lack of it. We have all heard the saying, let go and go with the flow. Nowhere else is this statement more important than in the human body. Let's compare this to a river. But this river, we have beaver dams along the way. So it's only logical that the more dams in the river, the slower the flow, and the more congested and contaminated the river becomes as the pressure builds. Hey, the pressure builds up. What about people with high blood pressure? See? So understand that resistance in the human body causes pressure. Like I said, high blood pressure, arrhythmia, heart attack, lung congestion, organ malfunction, headaches, constipation, pain, swelling, internal scar tissue formation, fibroids, tumors, and yes, cancer. Just to mention a few, because cancer is a storage shed Tumors are a storage shed of what? Hate and anger. And understand, you're not a hateful person, you're not an angry person, but what do you do with that type of emotion if you can't process it properly with love? Look, blocked energy creates pressure. How's your blood pressure? Do you feel under pressure? Understand that when you have a disease, you don't have one block within your body, you have many blocks. Very few people will ever return to vital health because practitioners are just not taught this. It's called whole body healing, not partial body healing. To focus on just the tumor, fibroid, joint problem, or just a body part is only part of the story. The weakest link is not the end-all be-all of healing, but it can put you into the hospital, a nursing home, or cripple you if you do not realize that your body is talking to you and telling you to take personal action and love yourself well. Diseases are just symptoms that have been mismanaged and mistreated. Until we learn the art of honoring, respecting, protecting, forgiving, and loving ourselves first and foremost, our health will always be in jeopardy. Take back your God-given potential to love, health, healing, and happiness. Understand this, all chronic diseases are complex diseases. An unmanaged disease can cause 10 to 40 physical blocks in your body. So to focus on only one part of the body and not on the whole body, when dealing with a chronic disease means you are going to deal with this illness or even something worse than this throughout your whole life. The part of the body that we call the disease is just the weakest link, breaking down first. Symptoms, such as a disease, is just your body's way of communicating with you. It's called body talk. This is a language that most people do not understand because they have never been taught this. You know the saying, the straw that broke the camel's back? Well, this time it's no camel. It's your body's weakest link. The medical system chases symptoms like a dog chases its tail. They never seem to catch the true cause. How convenient for repeat business. Welcome to the revolving door of big pharma, surgery, and don't forget these guys, the implant industry. Look at it. They market this approach so well that most of the natural health industry practices this same protocol without even knowing it. Most practitioners are not trained to understand or how to recognize physical blocks like adhesions, fibroids, and tumors until it becomes an emergency, such as surgery, radiation, or chemotherapy. These blocks are nutritional energy blocks that will eventually starve the patient to death. Practitioners are programmed like everyone else, and in this case, they are blind to the root cause of most illness and disease. And this root cause is the block that binds us. Look, these physical energy blocks must be gently taken apart and eliminated in a loving way, or they will eventually steal the body's nutrition and undermine the immune system, as we have all seen with family, friends, and patients. Look it. Thought form always comes before physical form. This is universal law. The integrity of your blood, tissues, organs, and bones, lymph, intercellular and extracellular fluid is created by the chemist, which is your brain, which is orchestrated and conducted by your emotions and feelings. How you feel at this very moment is either turning your cells on or turning them off. From inflammation to internal scar tissue formation to adhesions to fibroids to tumors, these are all created by your programs, which turn the invisible into the physical. It's all about programming, but who's controlling the program? Are you the master, or are you being mastered? To master the art of reversing physical blocks and conditions that are limiting your potential to live the life you deserve, please go to my A to Z Wellness Guide and watch Heal Your Muscles, Bones, Organs with Wolfe Non-Surgical Bodywork Masterclass. Look at. To access all our masterclasses, go to docofdetox.com and click on the library link at the top of the page. I have created the most powerful healing, self-loving, self-caring library in the world for you. Look it. If you are one of those who follow the herd, welcome to a lifelong acid trip of unconscious living programmed for the so-called greater good. We are talking about emotional blocks, which eventually become physical blocks that choke your muscles, lock up your joints, create holes in your bones, shut down your organs, and eventually block and limit the flow of vital energy throughout your body. Yes, issues in your tissues, such as mucus congestion, crystallization, displaced calcium, internal scar tissue formation, adhesions, deep internal scars from surgery, fibroids, and tumors caused from the constant underlying emotional stress, which leads to continued low-grade inflammation that eventually forms some form of autoimmune disease, which stands for what? As I stated earlier, attacking oneself. We don't even know we're running hate programs. We can no longer live unconsciously. We've become an inflammation nation, drowning in pain on all levels. Unconscious, subconscious programming is and always will be a life-threatening experience when you let others take control of the steering wheel of your vehicle known as your brain. Those who control society systems also wish to control your system. They have taken possession of God's greatest self-healing device and made it seem like a weak, infectious disease that can no longer heal because we have been programmed to no longer care for ourselves and even for each other. When I first became a practitioner, it puzzled me how there was truly no therapy that prevented or treated internal scar tissue, crystallization, or displaced calcium in the human body. I was only 27 years old when I realized, that even natural health therapy and body work was watered down. This is why I've created so many masterclasses for you, like how to become number one at the art of number two, I Am Woman, Thrive, Braveheart online emotional course, and then of course, this course, A to Z Wellness Masterclass. Also, how the mind works with the body, and one more masterclass that's called the emotional chemistry of disease and healing. Look, I grew to realize that this was purposely orchestrated. This whole watered down, dysfunctional, contaminated health system, whether we're talking about medical health or we're talking about natural health, if we were so efficient and we were doing what needs to be done, then why is everyone getting sicker when there's more natural health practitioners than there is medical? Look at, from physiotherapy to acupuncture to chiropractic and even all the medical treatments offered, there were no successful treatments for these specific conditions in treating crystallization, displaced calcium, scar tissue formation within the body. And those three things are the main things that make you feel old and look old. Those are the things that create the diseases in the body. Why isn't anyone taking a good look at this? Because we're all programmed. Still to this day, the medical system only treats internal scar tissue with surgery. And what's ironic about this is that surgery causes more scar tissue than anything else. No matter what the condition, it's issues in the tissues. Whether we're talking about ligaments, tendons, muscles, joints, or organs. An adhesion, fibroid, or tumor is like a chunk of ice. How do you get rid of a chunk of ice? Well, you raise the temperature by increasing the circulation to melt and transform it. The most powerful technique is Wolfe Non-Surgical therapy, to lovingly pull the fibrous scar tissue apart, because these physical blocks have the consistency of beef jerky. Have you ever tried to eat beef jerky? My gosh, you could wreck your teeth. And that's exactly what's happening, is that we are frying our tissues like a burger put on the barbecue that's been forgotten, because we are an inflammation nation and we don't have any idea on how to control our brain. So we are riding the pain train and we're frying out. Look, as the fibers are pulled apart with Wolfe Non-Surgical, your lymph, blood, and energy flow increases along with temperature in and around the area. This increased flow and temperature dissolves the crystallization, loosens the displaced calcium so it can be restored back to your bones where it came from. Also transforming the fibrous scar tissue back to the healthy connective tissue, thus restoring the ligaments, tendons, muscles, organs, and joints to their original healthy state by allowing life to flow again. I just want to say this right now. Not only has the majority of the population been sucker punched, but so have practitioners. Take a look at the practitioner you go to. Are they dealing with the calcium, the displaced calcium? Are they dealing with the crystallization? Are they dealing with the scar tissue within your body that you didn't even know you were creating? Why do you think grandpa's as stiff as a board? Why do you think you still have that knot in your neck after 10, 20, 30 years? Why do you think you're going for surgery and you didn't have to? You've been programmed to be sold off by the pound. So let's lovingly pull the fibers apart, whether we are talking about arthritis, a knee replacement, hip replacement, spinal surgery, adhesion, surgical scars, or fibroids. It's all the same, issues in your tissues. You now have a choice. You do have a choice. Just remember this, with every physical block created, you will suffer with more pain because you are blocking and disrupting the natural flow of the visible and the invisible. Look, these energy blocks are the disease. An example of this is crystallization, calcification, internal scar tissue formation, blood clots, cysts, pimples, adhesions, fibroids, tumors, and everything else that creates discomfort within the human body. Never forget, pain is your body's GPS. It's your guardian. It's your friend to the end, so respect it and listen to it. In today's society, pain is a gift or a punishment. It all depends on your belief systems. Do you want to be a physical victim or an awakened spirit? Pain is the most accurate diagnosis for the human body. Pain is the protector for those who are conscious. Pain is an alert system to get your attention and focus. Where your focus goes, energy flows. Pain is the greatest healer when you learn to master it through self-awareness, self-love, self-care. The more peaceful the heart and the mind, the greater the healing. The faster the healing, the more permanent the healing. We must learn to mind our own business and stay mindful of our breath. Just know this, you can't have a healing crisis unless you have issues in your tissues. The pain you experience is the pain you must release on an emotional and physical level. God created the vehicle called your body, but only you hold the key to turn on self-healing, and this key is called self-care. All healthcare systems that do not empower self-healing have been created to create the illusion of healing. This is the disease of business, or should I say, the business of disease. When you put your faith in mankind, the body takes the back seat or even becomes obsolete. Self-healing is the only way, it's nature's way. We will continue to create emotional blocks within our body until we understand that the true definition of disease is unconscious, subconscious dislike for oneself programmed into us through society's man-made systems. The more toxins and negative emotions that we take in, the more fat cells, internal scar tissue adhesions, fibroids, and tumors our body must produce. What people do not realize is that scar tissue stores more toxins than fat cells, but tumors even store more toxins than scar tissue. You will continually have to detox the visible, otherwise the physical, until you learn the art of detoxifying the invisible. Otherwise, the dysfunctional beliefs that block your emotional growth. You can remove the tumor, but did you remove the belief that gave it life in the first place? We must learn to master the 3 T's, this being toxins, thoughts, and traumas. That brings us to stress, the invisible injury that causes almost all disease we suffer from today. Can you believe that even the Heart Association does not even recognize stress as a factor when it comes to heart health? Again, we see Big Pharma playing the puppet master. Look, whether we're talking about the heart or any other part of the body, stress creates more inflammation and internal scar tissue formation in the body than any diet. The medical system and even the natural health system do not recognize scar tissue until it becomes an adhesion, fibroid, or tumor. Hey, who's been programmed here? Until this changes, healthcare will never be healthy. Both of these systems do not have what I would call a successful plan of action.